we want to look at modelling particularly the handle of our actual barbecue tray. We want to do this so we can draw a plan and create a template. So I'm going to go through that with you now. So I have the Duwork open here from Compass, and you can see here hoop pine 68 by 12 with a maximum length of 750 millimeters is our handle. 750 millimeters is the total that you get, and we have to then more or less divide that in half to fit into our base. Now our base here has a short side of 396 millimeters. We do want to leave a little bit overhang just to make sure that we can have all our joinery looking nice. So very quickly I'm just going to jump over here and show you. So I'm just going to do 750 divided by 2 gives us 375. Now 375 is great, but that doesn't take into consideration us actually cutting that piece of material in half. So I'm going to go with 370 millimeters as the length of my handle, and I'm going to keep that in my head. We're going to jump over to Fusion and we can start to model. So now in Fusion we have just opened that up, we have an untitled work there. I'm going to hit save, handle tutorial, a Year 9 ITS barbecue tray, perfect. Hit save, and now I want to sketch, and I'm going to select the right side on our navigation cube, and select that plane to draw on. Now I'm going to start with a rectangle for my handle. So from the center point here, I'm going to go up 68, and I'm going to go across 370. If I zoom out, you can see what it looks like there. Hit enter, E for extrude, and we want to extrude that 12. 12 is our thickness. Again, that's given in Compass and set, so we don't really need to worry too much about that. So I'm going to hit enter. Now on here, we want to draw our handle shape. Remember, this is up to you. The only real requirement is that where our handle side meets our side piece and projects back, we'll meet at a point that's 42 millimeters high. So you may want to put an indicator on here for that, and even if you just throw a rectangle in very quickly, we can go height of 42, length of 370. Means really you've got this top area here to play with when it comes to your design. So I'm just going to give us some more space here. I'm also just going to put a line in the center. So it finds the center for me, gives me a triangle there, place the first point there. I'm just going to drag that down to the bottom. This is going to help me break this up nice and evenly and create a nice even sort of shape. So for my handle, I'm going to press C for circle. I'm going to go with a 25mm hole here, another one over here, 25. Press D for dimension. I'm going to dimension this here, and I might make this 50. Again, D for dimension, this to this. Make that 50 also, so it's symmetrical. We can put in a couple of tangent lines. So if I just go with L for line, I'm going to select the side of my circle there. I'm going to come over until it gives me the tangent symbol, which is this one just here. I'm going to draw another line at the top here, do the same tangent symbol, then press escape. Now I want to go up to the tangent tool because I've got a tangent here, but I don't over the top on this side. So I'm going to select the tangent tool, the line and the circle, and it should then give me a tangent. So I have that one there, and this one looks like a tangent. I think it's working for me. Okay, I'm going to hit trim and trim out all the bits that I don't want out of here. We then have a nice symmetrical handle sort of piece, and we can then work on our shape to fill in this little area. Now we can use the spline tool for that, and again what I might do is simply put a line going straight up from the center of my circles to the edge, and we can trim these out later, but that's going to give me a really good point to start using the spline curve. So I'm going to select the spline curve, go from that point, and we can make this look however we like, as long as we end up coming down here to our 42. So I'm just going to hit enter there. I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm going to put a dimension between this last node here and the side. So D for dimension between that point and that point, and I want that to be 12. So I select all of that, make that 12, and that's my geometry. Then if I select that geometry and I say, look, I actually want to put exactly the same but the opposite on the other side, I come up to create and I select mirror. It says select objects. I want to select that line, then it says select mirror line, and you go with my halfway line, and you can see if I zoom out real quick that it's actually put that in there for me. Remember when we're putting, and we would click OK. So remember when we're putting and doing these lines, you actually have to create these. We've got to cut these out. So we want to make sure that we're aligning with our skill level, so to speak. So we then want to select, holding shift, these surfaces that we're going to extrude. E for extrude, I'm going to go with -12 to cut back through the plane there, and select OK. Now we can see my handle shape here, all complete. So select save and OK, and we're going to follow that with actually creating another plan. So I'm going to come up here to new drawing, from design. I want to use the King's drawing template, which we should now all be familiar with. Select OK, and we're going to do a drawing of this. Now the important part with our drawing is to get this at a 1:1 scale. So we've got to place a base view. I want a view from the right, and it's going to give me exactly what I'm after here. Scale of 1:1. Okay, so it should just fit on the page. I'm going to place that in here. I only want really a wire diagram because that's all I'm going to need as my template. Okay, so a couple other things we would put in. We'd put in a center mark for the circle here and here. That allows us to use a center punch and mark those. But with the 1:1 scale, we can now cut that out and put that on. Last but not least, I really do want you to put on a base dimension so that we can check that that's right, and a side dimension in here. Now I'll have to move, so press escape, move that across just ever so slightly so that we get that 42 in the screen. This dimension is not so critical, but we do need to make sure that we are within that 370 millimeters, so we can create our template and use it effectively. Hit save, type in handle tutorial drawing, perfect, and you're finished.